That result against Ukraine was something special. Second semi-final in a major tournament in a row for Southgate's boys. Let's take it one step further this time. A final in a European Championship at Wembley. I think we all know it's coming home. Hello everyone and welcome back into Wayne's World with myself, Wayne. And this time we're looking forward to the semi-finals against Denmark. Now I'm not going to lie to you guys. Against Croatia and against Scotland, I had my doubts that we were going to make it this far. But I've had to sort of reevaluate the way that I see this England team. Because yes, we probably have the strongest squad left in this competition. But the way that Southgate has these boys willing to do whatever it takes to get the win, whether it's set pieces, whether it's a 1-0 grind. Ukraine, we didn't necessarily play fantastic in the attacking end, but it was efficient. And these are all traits that we've seen in popular German teams, in historical Italian teams, things like that. Traits that these teams are praised for. These are characteristics of winning teams. There's a level of confidence about this team and solidarity that makes me feel like it's ours to lose now. I'm not looking past Denmark because they've been a brilliant team so far in the competition. They've done incredibly well to reach the semi-finals once you consider the emotional factor of Christian Eriksen. And everyone out there is hoping he's on the road to recovery and doing well at home. A lot of their success, in my opinion, has come down to their experience. Players like Kasper Schmeichel, they rallied around the team and they've taken that horrific experience and pushed on throughout the tournament because of that togetherness, because of that experience, because of the bond that they've got. The Premier League experience in Christensen, Vestergaard, Schmeichel and Højbjerg may come in as a factor as well. They may know what to expect from the likes of Kane, from the likes of Sterling, from the likes of Phillips and Rice. And they may be able to counteract that. But alongside that experience, they have a lot of attacking threat as well. Dolberg's coming into form at the right time. But this guy, who I want to pick out, attacking goal threat down that left-hand side, an assist threat with crosses, cutbacks, he's been brilliant just going up and down the pitch. And I think that his position and the way that he likes to get forward could see us move back into a back three to match Denmark in a similar fashion to what happened against Germany. Thinking back to the Germany game, that's what worked particularly well against Goossens, who was probably their main threat throughout the whole competition. I think if we implement a system like that, we can hopefully nullify that threat down that left-hand side. So I personally think we'll see Southgate go back to a back three, match up with Denmark man for man, and hopefully take control with our quality, because I think we can all agree that we've got the better individuals. That individual quality at times in tough grind-out games is going to be enough to hopefully see us through into the final. Dolberg, Braithwaite, and also Poulsen coming off the bench, or if he's to come back into the starting lineup, each one of them can be a threat on their day as well. We have to be really careful to not lose runners. Make sure that the threat with Damsgaard down this left-hand side doesn't cause too many overloads, too many positions for them to cut back, for them to cross it into the box. And as we saw against Wales, it was that fluid movement between the likes of Dolberg, Braithwaite. Their running and sort of interchangeability from their attacking positions caused a lot of problems for the Welsh defence. And yes, we haven't conceded a goal yet, but we need to make sure we keep that defensive structure. One other thing to consider as well, when Ukraine had the injury against England in the first half, they created a lot of problems for us when they moved to the back four. So maybe that's something Denmark might want to implement. They've seen a little weakness in the armour from that Ukraine performance. I know we haven't conceded a goal and we've been much more solid defensive looking when Maguire came in. No discredit to Mings, but Maguire I think is a level above. We just need to make sure that Dolberg, who is in form now into the tournament, I think it's 3 goals in the last 2 games. Players like Braithwaite don't just run off defenders and get easy chances inside the box. We need to make sure that we're defensively structured and we can build from that base. And as I said, our individual quality can hopefully see us through. Looking at the team we lined up with against the Ukraine, we saw Mason Mount come back in. We saw Jadon Sancho get his first start. And I think that this team, what we've seen with Southgate is he likes to set up for the opponent rather than set up for England's strengths. And one thing we saw was Mason Mount had the legs to drop back, make that into a midfield three. Jadon Sancho often stayed over wide on the right-hand side because Ukraine obviously defended with a back three before the injury. And when Jadon Sancho had his chance, it was because of that width we were able to create that quality of chance. We saw less attacking threat from Kyle Walker, who tucked in a little bit and just allowed Sancho to kind of do his thing. And our main threat was down this left-hand side, with Raheem Sterling tucking inside and Luke Shaw bombing on, creating the overlaps. And that's where we had a lot of success. We saw the header from Kane, came from a beautiful cross from Luke Shaw. And I think that setup, that game plan against Ukraine worked to perfection. Where it did come unstuck a little bit though was that final 10 to 15 minutes in the first half where we allowed Ukraine to get a little bit more possession. We allowed them to look threatening, although they didn't create anything too clear cut, and we were able to get away without conceding many major chances. They did get on the ball and they did look a lot better as an attacking threat. I think a lot of that came down to the game plan. We'd obviously set up for them to defend in a back three with the midfield four. When they changed that, I think we lost our way a little bit because our game plan wasn't catered to that. And that's where I mentioned Gareth Southgate plays for the opponent rather than our strengths. And it's a good trait to have on occasions, especially when you're in knockout competitions. So I think that's why we'll do that again against Denmark. So with that in mind, this is the team I think we'll select against Denmark. Jordan Pickford will obviously stay in goal, no doubt about it. He's probably been the goalkeeper of the tournament for me. Him and Schmeichel probably up there. But I think his distribution has been brilliant. He's made important saves when we've needed him to. And he's a leader in this team now. He's developing really well. England Pickford, for some reason, is not the same as Everton Pickford. I don't know what it is. But he has been very good, very consistent for Southgate since he took over. And he definitely stays in goal for this one. As I've alluded to already, I think we'll go back to a back three, similar to the Germany game. So we'll have Kyle Walker, John Stones, and Harry Maguire in defence. You can't really change a defence too much that's conceded 0 goals across 5 games in the tournament. And just these three are really solid. It covers everything. You've got good passing with Stones and Maguire. You've got a leader vocal with Maguire as well. And then you've got the recovery pace, if necessary, of Kyle Walker. So these three will definitely be in the team. And alongside them, Luke Shaw. He's been brilliant throughout this tournament. You're not going to take him out. He'll be high on confidence after his 2 assists in the game the other day. And I just think he'll have a chance at team of the tournament if we can get past Denmark and potentially win the game in the final as well. Now for the midfield duo, the main thing against Ukraine was to not get suspensions to either of them. And we managed to get through that without any problems at all. So we'll have Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice as the midfield two. We managed to get through the 90 minutes without either of them picking up a yellow card. And while I was happy for Jordan Henderson coming on and getting his goal, that was a great moment. I don't see him coming into the midfield to start. No discredit to him whatsoever, but Phillips has been brilliant from game one. And Declan Rice, he's really developed during this competition. And while this partnership may not be the most progressive in terms of passing or in terms of getting forward, I think they're our most structured and most solid. And joining these 7 as guaranteed starters, injury permitting in my opinion, Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane. Raheem Sterling's been our best player throughout this tournament. I don't think anyone can really dispute that. He carried us through the group stage with his goals. And that moment of brilliance to set Kane through for the first goal early on against Ukraine is something that I feel like we've overlooked in the result. I know we scored 4 and it was a solid team performance. But that pass was a moment of world-class magic that Raheem Sterling has had to do for us time and time again as an England team. And as for Harry Kane, everyone knows he's a clinical finisher. Hopefully he's in form now after a poor start to the tournament. Goals breed confidence, and obviously if we're going to win this, we're going to need him to continue scoring. Where I can see the first change happening is Mason Mount dropping out for Kieran Trippier. I can just see us matching them tactically. Much like we did against Germany, staying solid in that first half, making sure we haven't conceded any silly goals, making sure we stay in it. And in the second half, we allow our attacking threats to sort of progress forward. We've obviously played this back 3, back 5 system, whatever you want to call it, a lot of times before. We were successful with it in the World Cup as well. And I think that this personnel, for an important game like a semi-final, and I think we'll maybe see it again in the final as well if we do make it, fingers crossed. I know we've seen the back 4 a lot from England during this tournament. The only time we've seen this back 3, back 5 is against Germany. But we were really successful in the World Cup with this formation as well. And it's something that Southgate's sort of drilled in tactically into this England team. And I think when you get to the important stages of a semi-final, of a knockout tournament, of a final, you want to make sure that you stay in games. And obviously, we've been really good at doing that so far. So I can see this being our go-to structure for the important big games of a semi-final and a final if we can make it. And I think the final position comes down to fitness. And assuming he's recovered from his knock, Bukayo Saka, I think, starts on that right-hand side. He's been a breath of fresh air since coming into the England team. Fingers crossed he's okay, because we obviously want a fully fit squad going into this semi-final. But I think this is what we'll see Southgate line up with. So there we have my 11 players that I think Southgate will pick against Denmark. I'm confident. I think we're going to win the game 2-0. Probably 2 late goals. 1 from Sterling, 1 from Kane will lead us through to the final. Let me know in the comments below any changes you would make to this team or the 11 that you'd select for the semi-final. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter. I'm regularly talking about football over there. Or come and catch one of my live streams over on Twitch. Socials will be in the description down below. I'm buzzing for this semi-final. Sun is shining. A semi-final at Wembley followed by a final. We can feel something special brewing. And I think we can all agree football is coming home. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, smash that like button. Think about subscribing to the channel for more football content like this throughout the summer and on to next season. Stay safe. Take care. Enjoy the semi-finals. Peace.